Original Aurora is what Aurora used to be, right? Where it was, got a lot of foot traffic, had a lot of people coming here. It was a landmark, and the DDA can bring that back.
I'm formerly an architect, and what I saw when I moved here was these historic buildings with these beautiful mosaics that reminded me of home. I wanted to come here and create a business that felt like it wove into the fabric that is already East Colfax.
Original Aurora is known as one of the most walkable communities in all of Metro Denver. And that's a beautiful thing. But imagine improving that to be the best by having a downtown development authority, being able to walk from seeing a show to going over to a particular restaurant and having dinner, or meeting friends at a cafe and not having to get into your car, but actually bringing the family along, walking the streets of East Colfax in a dignified way.
I own my home here, and I have my son going to school here, and we walk to school almost every morning and see the buildings that are falling apart and the trash in the alleys and the alleys that are not paved, and some of them are paved. He's going to this neighborhood school where almost all of his friends live within a few blocks of us, and they want to hang out with each other and run around and ride bikes and things, and it needs to just be a little bit safer before we can do that.
A downtown development authority is a quasi-governmental entity that is created in a specific area for the purpose of stimulating the redevelopment, revitalization of the area and moving that process forward.
I believe that the Downtown Development Authority project will really revitalize this neighborhood by improving sidewalks, street lights, supporting small businesses. DDAs do things like help with public safety, economic development. They provide transportation options and will help with the rehabilitation of certain buildings.
This can be the center, the heart of this city, a city of over 400,000 now, a city that has a landmass larger than Denver, a city with so many promises in front of it. It is absolutely critical that this passes, to be able to bring this area back, to reimagine the Colfax corridor as vibrant, as safe, with a focus on the arts.
As professional artists, my wife and I have long admired communities like the Santa Fe Arts District. They utilize very similar community-based organizations. The more I learned about these type of organizations, the more I saw that they weren't backed by giant faceless conglomerate corporations or anything nefarious like that. It really was just these groups were comprised of local community members that cared about their communities, and they wanted to induce some amount of organization and just making sure that the sidewalks were fixed and the buildings were nice looking, and that there was some really great businesses worth going to.
The DDA is important to my business specifically because I would like to re-sign my lease. When you know that the bus rapid transit is coming, you know that there are going to be hard times in the future, you question whether you want to re-sign another lease. And to re-sign another 5 years for me is very important in this community because the community wants us to stay. It also tells me that I'm growing with it and that I'm not facing a wall in the end and that my business is going to fail at some point. A DDA is what's going to help us survive as small business and really help this area survive. I have my sister's restaurant right next door to me as well, and without the DDA, we don't know what our future will look like either.
We have that connotation of Colfax, and we're trying to recreate that this is an area of arts and culture and food and drink, an area that people want to come to.
I think the DDA is really what this community has been needing for a long time because we've seen so many different iterations of city planning coming in here and telling us, we're gonna make you a new plan. This is the one time that we actually have a chance to make sure that the plan is something we can afford to follow through on, because if we get the DDA passed, we'll without raising any new taxes, we'll get funding to start making the improvements that they suggest. And so it won't just end up as another book on a shelf somewhere in the office of the mayor waiting to, for somebody else to come along and do it.
I encourage you to vote yes on ballot issue A and B for Aurora to officially create the DDA. Let's bring back original Aurora.
I enthusiastically ask that you vote yes on ballot initiative A and B during this next election on November 4th.
I ask that you vote for ballot initiative A and B because when community members come together, community members win.
And I believe if the DDA passes, it will be the heart and soul of the city once again, as it was when I was growing up.